الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق. Now, so yesterday we finished where Musa began his conversation after Allah sent him to Fir'aun. After that, Allah Ta'ala said, فَأَرَاهُ الْآيَةَ الْكُبْرَى فَكَذَّبَ وَعَصَى ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ يَسْعَى فَحَشَرَ فَنَادَى فقال أنا ربكم الأعلى فأخذه الله نكال الآخرة والأولى إن في ذلك لعبرة لمن يخشى. So after Musa alayhi salam told Fir'aun that I could guide you to your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you can have reverence of him, and through your reverence of him, you will do the acts of obedience and stay away from the acts of disobedience. And then Musa alayhi salam showed him a miracle that Allah Ta'ala sent him with in order to convince this individual who's claiming to be the Lord. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Nicole. So he showed him great sign. So Fir'aun فَكَذَّبَ وَعَصَى. So he denied and rejected that sign and disobeyed Musa. ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ يَسْعَى. Then he turned his back, striving against that sign and striving against the message of Musa alayhi salam. And then he gathered the people together and called out, saying to them, I am your Lord. I am your Lord. And the amazing thing, as we mentioned, I like to mention those verses in Surah Al-Haqqah, and where Allah Ta'ala says, فَهَلْ تَرَى لَهُم مِّن بَاقِيَةٍ. Do you see any of them remaining? Where Allah destroyed these nations, and he asks, do you see any of them remaining? So here it is, Fir'aun, his power, his rule, and it was a succession of pharaohs. You know, a pharaoh is like a Caesar. It just means a ruler or a king. So in the succession of all of these pharaohs and the rule that they had and the power they said, look, all these, they built the pyramids, they did this, that, and that, and they're gone. They're gone. After claiming to be an ilah. And it's amazing how the kuffar and some foolish people who claim Islam keep pondering and thinking that these people are great, but they're gone. So how great is the one that removed them? And ask the rhetorical question, do you see any of them remaining? But what is even more foolish than this is that you have people, especially those who've been affected with Pan-Africanism, who have the belief in ancestors, and the belief that based on genetic strengths, that they're gods, like the 5%ers, like the Nation of Islam, when these individuals claim godhood, whereas they have nothing. Fir'aun had all of this control and all of this power and like that, and he made the claim here. I gathered the people together and said, Musa's trying to tell y'all have a God besides me. I'm your God. I'm your most high Lord. So he was deceived by his power. What is deceiving these poor, impoverished, uneducated individuals to call themselves gods? You have people in prison. They're actually incarcerated who has adopted this belief. 5% nation. This is a break off from the Nation of Islam established by Clarence 13X. They say that the people are divided into three parts. They say 90% of the people, how do they say it? 85% of the people are deaf, dumb, and blind. And then they say 10% of the people are the evil controllers of the world. And 5% of the people are poor, righteous teachers. And they call themselves 5%ers. They're the 5%ers. So in this, they call themselves gods. You will not run into one of these individuals and they have any kind of authority in the land, anywhere. Politically, religiously, and any other type of authority anywhere in the world. But they claim that they are God. They say Allah, and they spell it with English letters, A-L-L-A-H, means arm, leg, arm, head. It's an acronym, yeah. So you're Allah. They say Islam, they spell it with English letters, I-S-L-A-M, I, self, Lord of Master. I, self, Lord of Master. They said it's an acronym for I, self, Lord of Master. So I had to debate these guys. So I said, okay, number one, if you study etymology, the roots and origins of languages and their words, you'll know that the Arabic language existed centuries before the English language existed. Meaning that the word Allah was in use in Arabic. It's an Arabic word, it's not an English word. That A-L-L-A-H is called transliteration. Transliteration is the science of adopting letters from one language in order to form them to pronounce a word from another language. So the word A-L-L-A-H is only to make the sound of the word Allah in Arabic, but it is not the word Allah. The word Allah can only be spelled in Arabic. So I said to them, so what did Allah mean before the English language was developed? It couldn't have been arm, leg, arm, head. Those words didn't exist. But the word Allah existed. What did it mean? They don't know. So they're foolish individuals. But it's amazing how also we understand and we acknowledge the atrocities that were done, and it's not nothing in Islam that tells us to denounce what was done to us as a people in recent times through systematic discrimination and things like that, and which was done in through slavery, enslaving our freed ancestors, you know, and even the wordplay they do just by constantly calling them slaves. They were not slaves. They were free people who were enslaved. They weren't slaves. I mean, if you're going to use the word slave, then you have to say the enslaved people, the people who were enslaved. You know, that's you know, it's like someone is kidnapped and you're calling them like you begin like as if they're supposed to be kidnapped. So you just keep calling them, oh yeah, the kidnapped lady, the kidnapped. No, she's not. She was kidnapped. The action was done to her, but that's not what she is. She should be. There should be an adjective for her. You know, so with the free people who were enslaved. So we understand all of that. However, we have to at the same time have balance in our perception and in our approach. Just calling everybody that is a descendant of freed people who are enslaved, kings and queens, because of tracing or not tracing African roots. I said, let's have balance. Everybody is impossible. It's impossible to have a hierarchy, a patriarchy, or a monarchy without peasants. Everybody that was brought, if you take the scenario that you know about that, our people were kidnapped and brought here. Know for a fact that everybody that was brought here wasn't a king or a queen. It's impossible to have a kingdom or a queendom without peasants. It's impossible. Somebody was a peasant. That's how it goes. Everybody wasn't a king or queen. Some people were peasants and were sold by those kings and queens. That's the reality. It's the reality. So the point of me bringing that up is that here it is, Firaun, he had some things that would cause him to be delusional, power and control. But we have people today that have no power, no control, but are delusional. They give themselves these hierarchy titles, and they have nothing that points to them having any kind of level. So he was delusional through his power. How much worse it is someone to be delusional and give themselves these high, I'm a boss, I'm a diva, I'm a king, I'm a queen. You have nothing that would make you believe that about yourself. But to have self-respect and self-esteem, it's good. It's from Islam. But to be delusional and begin giving yourself titles that you don't deserve because there's nothing in your life that points to that. It's a hadith in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah Ta'ala said, it's hadith Qudsi. Oh, no, it's not hadith Qudsi, afwan. It's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, ثلاثة لا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا ينظر إليهم ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. 3 of types of people that Allah Ta'ala will not speak to them on the day of judgment, nor will he look at them, nor will he purify them, and they have a terrible torment or a painful torment. The first one he mentioned, al-Malikul Kadhab. A king, a ruler, person in position of hierarchy, but he's a liar. Then he said, wa shaykhun zad. Sheikh here doesn't mean a scholar, it means an elderly person, but he's still a fornicator, still lewd. And then he said, al-a'il al-mustakbir, the poor, arrogant person. Scholars, when they explain this hadith, they say these 3 individuals, their punishment is so great because they have nothing in their lives that would cause them to commit the sin that they're committing. Let's take the first one, Malikul Kadhab, a king, a hierarchy who's a liar. Why would someone who the first and last word is theirs, they have control, they have power, why would this person have to lie? If they told the truth and the people didn't like it, what could they do? So this person being in such a high position, king, but he's a liar, it's like, why are you lying? Even if you told the truth and the people like it, they couldn't do anything to you. So it means that this person is so far away from needing to lie, he needs a severe punishment. Next one, Shaykhun Zad, elderly fornicator. Why? Because once a person enters to the age of Shaykhuka, be considered elderly, or what do we call it in English? Senior citizen. The beauty that they used to have is not there. The strength that they used to have is not there. The foolishness should be gone. That would make them make the foolish decision just to chase after, the desires. So everything that would, when they were young, that would make them slip up and fall into something like that is gone. So it means that the person is actually doing effort to disobey Allah when it comes to something like this. That's why I deserve such a painful torment. And then the poor, arrogant person. So mine's poor, impoverished. Normally, arrogance comes with position, favor, popularity, whatever. Things, the person has to have something and to be arrogant about it. They're deceived or delusional by what Allah has given them. So now this person has minimal favors from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just the natural favors, sight, this, that, nothing that makes him over anyone else. So how can someone poor look down? Because the arrogant person, as the Prophet explained, is a person who rejects the truth and looks down on people. So how can someone be impoverished and look down on others? Look down on others. And we see these characteristics are widespread in society, in this society here. They lie. Politicians, they're in position, they lie, they're liars. They're liars. They do what they want anyway. So what's the point of lying? Just say, well, we're going to do this. We're going to, inject you guys with a vaccine. We're going to lock this down. We're going to build more prisons. We're going to set you up to go to jail. What you going to do? They're liars. And every year, people go out to vote. And they got to choose between which liars. Just like Malcolm said, Rahimahullah Ta'ala, Malcolm X. He said, what? When they asked him about voting, he said, what? The wolf or the fox? Which, I'm going to vote for the wolf or the fox. The wolf is going to actually let me know. He's going to show his fangs, and he's going to let me know he's going to kill me. And the fox is going to act innocent until he gets in position, and then he's going to kill me. What's the difference? No. So, and today we have men and women, people who are way beyond 40, they're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, older women, working out. They're working out and like that, and now they're sticking their behinds out, twerking. They're doing what little girls do. They're behaving like silly little girls, and the older men online doing the same thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, wow. Before, subhanAllah, you could tell the elders from the younger. But now you can't. The same foolish behavior, the same foolish speech. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And the poor, arrogant person. I mean, this is widespread. That a person is impoverished, what? Talking down about people, looking down on people, feeling like they're better than others, and they claim self-esteem. That's not self-esteem. Self-esteem is simply knowing your good attributes, good traits, exploiting them to your benefit, and not even allowing anyone to convince you that you don't have those good attributes and good traits. It has nothing to do with someone else. It's called self-esteem. So anytime a person has to look outside of him or herself in order to feel good and to put them down in order to feel good about him or herself, that's not self-esteem. Self-esteem is developed within the self. Allahu Musta'an. Okay, so فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. So he said, I am the Most High. All right, ulama explain here. فأظهر له موسى عليه السلام العلامة العظمى الدالة على أنه رسول من ربه، وهي اليد والعصا, as in Surah Al-Taha. So Musa showed Fir'aun a mighty sign, the mighty sign that proves that he was a messenger from Allah. And that was when he extracted his hand and it was glowing, and he turned his staff into a snake and then turned it back into a staff. Now, and each prophet came with miracles that were consistent with what was considered the highest level of knowledge or achievement during that time. So miracles that were consistent with that. So this so-called medicine or treating people was popular during the time of Isa. So his miracles were healing the leper, healing the blind, because medicine was a big thing. Musa alayhi salam, magic was a big thing. So him putting his hand into his breast and then bringing it out glowing and turning his staff into a snake and then turning it back into a staff, that was his sign. During the Prophet they came, eloquence and poetry was the thing and which the people were impressed by. So he was giving the Quran with words that could not be mimicked nor imitated nor duplicated, and like that. So each prophet had a miracle that was consistent with what was the greatest achievement that the people looked at in their societies. So Musa showed Fir'aun this great sign. فما كان من فرعون إلا أنه كذب بهذه العلامة. So it was not only Fir'aun, all that he did, instead of believing, is that he rejected this sign. وعصى ما أمره به موسى عليه السلام. And he disobeyed what Musa ordered him with. ثم أعرض عن الإيمان بما جاء به موسى. And then he turned away from having faith in that which Musa came with. ورجع يجمع جنوده للمبالغة لمغالبة موسى فنادى قومه قائلا. Then he went and he gathered his army in order to overpower Musa. And he called out saying, أنا ربكم الأعلى فلا طاعة لغيري عليكم. So he said, I am your Lord, the Most High. So you should not obey anyone other than me, or no one has a right to your obedience other than me. فأخذه الله العاقبة في الدنيا بالغرق في البحر والعاقبة وعاقبه في الآخرة بإدخاله في أشد العذاب. So Allah Ta'ala took him to account by punishing him in the dunya, by drowning him in the Red Sea, in the ocean. And then he's going to punish him again in the hereafter by causing him to enter the most severe hellfire, severe punishment in the hellfire. Now, so these are the ayat that we wanted to benefit from today. Oh, afwan, no, I did read this ayah. Nah. Then, إن فيما عاقبنا به فرعون في الدنيا والآخرة لموعظة لمن يخشى الله فهو الذي ينتفع بالمواعظ. Allah Ta'ala said, indeed, and that is a sign for the one who has reverence of Allah. Ulama say, إن فيما عاقبنا به فرعون, indeed in that which we punished Fir'aun with in the dunya and in the hereafter is an admonishment for the one who has reverence of his Lord. These are the individuals, or this is the individual that will benefit from the admonishment. Inshallah, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll be on Ayah 27. I'm at 37. Need to back up some. Yeah. Where Allah Ta'ala says, أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها. Rhetorical question. Allah said, are you, the human beings, more difficult to create, or the heavens? Allah built those heavens. Now, inshallah ta'ala, we'll talk about this tomorrow. We'll stop here. If there's any statements or questions, I'll take them now. If not, this is where we'll stop, inshallah ta'ala. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.